My son told me the house was his at 6:43 on a Sunday evening, while brown gravy cooled beside the cornbread his mother had taught him to make. By 7:14, I had stopped the mortgage transfer scheduled to leave my account at midnight. Malcolm thought that payment was the only thing holding his life together. The older truth was sitting inside a blue closing folder no one had opened since Evelyn died. I did not mention the folder. I folded my napkin, carried my plate to the sink, and asked my granddaughter whether she had finished the book report due Tuesday. That was the last ordinary question anyone asked in that house for a long time. My name is Isaiah Brooks. I am 68 years old, and I spent 36 years keeping electricity moving through Washington's metro system. I learned early that most failures do not begin with smoke. They begin with one loose connection no one wants to examine. Before I tell you why that old closing folder mattered, tell me where you are listening from tonight. Sometimes a family story reaches the person who needs it from 3 streets away or 3,000 miles away. The dinner had started well enough. Renee roasted a chicken. Malcolm opened a bottle of sparkling cider because Lila liked the sound of the cork. I brought collard greens in the navy serving bowl Evelyn used every Thanksgiving. For 12 years, that bowl had lived in my cabinet. After Evelyn died, I carried it into Malcolm's house because I could not bear to eat holiday meals alone, with all her dishes still waiting for her hands. Lila was 10 that year. She sat beside me, swinging one sneaker under the table and telling me about a girl at school who had stolen her purple mechanical pencil. Renee corrected her. "Borrowed, baby. We don't know that she stole it." Lila whispered, "She put my name sticker in the trash." I almost laughed. Then Malcolm cleared his throat. He did it the way people do when they have rehearsed a sentence in another room. "Dad, Renee and I have been talking." Renee placed both hands around her glass. She looked at the table instead of at me. Malcolm pushed a printed page across the placemat. It was an advertisement for a senior apartment complex in Laurel. 1-bedroom units, weekly transportation, community activities, a photograph of 3 gray-haired people laughing over a jigsaw puzzle. I looked at the page, then at my son. "What am I supposed to do with this?" "It's a nice place," he said. "Quiet, safe. They have openings next month." Lila stopped swinging her foot. Renee began collecting crumbs with the side of her fork. Malcolm continued, "Miss Bernice's knees are getting worse. Her house has too many stairs. We need the downstairs suite for her." The downstairs suite was where I slept. It had a bedroom, a small sitting room, and a bathroom with the grab bars I had installed after Evelyn's first surgery. Malcolm called it a suite now. When we bought the house, he called it Dad's place. I asked, "When did you decide this?" "We didn't decide it against you." That was not my question. Malcolm glanced at Renee. She gave him the smallest nod. "We decided last week. And you already called the apartment place?" We checked availability. I turned the paper over. Someone had written a monthly rent figure in blue ink. It was more than half my pension after insurance. I looked at Malcolm again. "Who is paying for this?" He leaned back. "You have retirement income. So do you." His face tightened. "Dad, don't make this about money." That sentence almost impressed me. For 4 years, nearly every important conversation in that house had been about my money. But the first time I asked a question, money became an improper subject. Renee spoke gently. "Isaiah, this isn't meant to hurt you. My mother needs family around her." I looked toward Lila. So do I. No one answered. Malcolm rubbed his palm across the table. It was the same hand I had held when he was 6, and the emergency room doctor stitched his chin. "You helped us get started," he said. "We appreciate that. But this is our home. We need to make decisions for our household." I waited. He had not yet said the sentence he had brought to the table. Malcolm looked directly at me. "This house is mine now, Dad. You can't keep acting like your help means you get a vote forever. There are pains that arrive hot. This one did not." It felt like walking into a room after someone had removed all the furniture. The dimensions were familiar, but there was nowhere left to sit. Lila's eyes filled before mine did. I reached for my water. My hand shook once, hard enough to tap the glass against the plate. Malcolm saw it. For half a second, he looked like he wanted to take the words back. Then Renee placed her hand on his wrist, and whatever softness had reached him disappeared. I asked one question. "When would you like me gone?" "By the end of the month," he said. It was the 3rd Sunday of September. I had 13 days. I nodded, gathered my plate, and took it to the sink. Lila followed me into the kitchen. "Granddad, are you mad?" "No, baby." It was not true. But anger was not the feeling I needed to protect her from. She looked toward the dining room. "Are you leaving because of Grandma Bernice?" "I am going to figure out where I belong." "You belong here." Children sometimes say the sentence every adult in the room has worked hard not to say. I touched the top of her braids. "Finish your book report. We will talk tomorrow." In my room, I closed the door and sat on the edge of the bed. Evelyn's photograph stood on the dresser. She was 59 in that picture, wearing a yellow scarf and laughing at something outside the frame. I kept waiting for grief to become less specific. It never did. I still missed the small sound she made before disagreeing with me. I missed the way she folded grocery receipts into exact little squares. I missed being known before I opened my mouth. On the desk sat my laptop. Every month, on the first business day, $3,180 moved from my checking account to Malcolm's mortgage servicer. The payment was due in 8 days. The transfer was scheduled for midnight. I opened the banking page. My finger rested over the cancel button for almost a minute. Not because I doubted what Malcolm had said, because I knew what stopping the payment would expose in me. I had not been paying only to help my son. I had been paying to keep Sunday dinner within walking distance of my bedroom. After Evelyn died, the quiet in my old house frightened me more than I admitted. I could repair a signal relay in a tunnel with trains moving 2 tracks away, but I could not sleep through the sound of an empty refrigerator humming in a home built for 2 people. Malcolm had offered me a place with his family. I had turned my savings into a down payment and my pension into a monthly mortgage because I wanted to believe I was investing in closeness. Somewhere along the way, I had started paying admission to my own family. I pressed cancel. The confirmation appeared at 7:14. I printed it and placed it in the top drawer beneath my socks. Then I opened the closet. Behind my winter coat was a plastic storage bin marked taxes. At the bottom, under 4 years of statements, I found the blue folder. Evelyn had written Brooks House. Keep originals across the front. Her handwriting made my throat close. I did not open it that night. I carried it to the desk, placed both hands on top of it, and sat there until the laughter from the television upstairs stopped. The next morning, Malcolm left for work before sunrise. Renee drove Lila to school. She passed my doorway without speaking. I made coffee, toasted one slice of bread, and finally opened the folder. The first pages were ordinary closing documents: purchase price, settlement charges, insurance, signatures. Then I reached the page Evelyn had insisted on discussing with our lawyer. A recorded deed of trust in favor of the Brooks Family Trust came first. Behind it was a shared equity agreement and a separate occupancy agreement. My contribution had not been listed as a gift. The $168,000 from the sale of my Hyattsville home was secured by the recorded deed, while the shared equity agreement entitled the trust to 40% of the net equity. The occupancy agreement gave Evelyn and me the right to use the downstairs rooms unless we voluntarily released that right in writing. Malcolm had signed both documents. So had Renee. I remembered the closing day clearly. Malcolm was excited and impatient. Renee was 7 months pregnant with Lila. The air conditioning in the title office had stopped working, and everyone wanted to leave. Evelyn had read every page. Malcolm teased her. "Mom, nobody reads all that." She adjusted her glasses and said, "That is why papers get lonely and people get surprised." He laughed and signed. On the inside cover of the folder, Evelyn had left a yellow sticky note. "Keep the blue copy." People remember promises differently when life gets expensive. It was not a prophecy. It was Evelyn being Evelyn. She had loved Malcolm deeply. She had also spent 28 years managing payroll for a construction company. She knew affection and documentation were not enemies. I called Naomi Green at 9:30. Naomi had been Evelyn's closest friend since college and our attorney for almost 20 years. She answered on the fourth ring. "Isaiah, is everything all right?" "No." She did not ask me to explain over the phone. Her office was in Silver Spring, above a bakery that always smelled like cinnamon before noon. I arrived with the blue folder at 11. Naomi read the first 2 documents, removed her glasses, and looked at me. "Does Malcolm remember signing these?" "I don't know what Malcolm remembers." "What happened?" I told her about the dinner, the senior apartment, Miss Bernice, and the 13-day deadline. Naomi listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked, "Are you safe in the house?" "Yes." "Has anyone threatened you?" "No." "Changed locks? Restricted access to your medication, money, transportation?" "Nothing like that." She nodded. "Then we move carefully." I disliked the word carefully because it sounded slow, and pain always wants speed. What can he do? He can ask you to leave. He can be unpleasant, but he cannot erase your recorded interest or your occupancy agreement by declaring the house his over dinner. I looked at the folder. He has the first mortgage. Yes, you are not a borrower on that loan. Your trust holds a recorded deed of trust behind the lender, along with a shared equity agreement and separate occupancy rights. We will verify everything before taking a position. I stopped paying the mortgage. Naomi's eyebrows rose. "The voluntary payments from your account?" "Yes." "Good. Do not send another dollar until we understand the whole picture." The word "good" did not make me feel good. There is a child in that house. There is also a grown man with a salary and a signed loan. I looked out the window. Below us, a woman pushed a stroller past the bakery. The baby inside was holding a red balloon. "What if they lose it?" Naomi leaned forward. "Isaiah, listen to me. Helping Malcolm meet an obligation is different from accepting that the obligation belongs to you. I knew that. Knowing a thing and living by it are not the same labor. Naomi photocopied the documents and told me not to confront Malcolm with them yet. Let him tell us what he believes, she said. I carried the folder home. That evening, Malcolm acted as though Sunday had never happened. He asked whether I had picked up Lila from dance class. I said yes. Renee asked whether I wanted salmon or pasta for dinner. I said either was fine. No one mentioned the apartment. No one mentioned the mortgage. For 3 days, the house lived inside a performance of normal family life. On Thursday, the first email arrived. The mortgage servicer had not received the usual early payment. The message went to Malcolm because the loan was in his name. He called me from work. Dad, did the transfer fail? No. A pause. Then why hasn't it gone through? Because I canceled it. The line went quiet. I could hear traffic behind him. You canceled the mortgage? I canceled my payment toward your mortgage. Why would you do that without telling me? I almost admired the question. You told me the house was yours. It is. Then the payment should be yours too. Malcolm lowered his voice. Dad, this is not the time for a lesson. It was not a lesson. It was a correction. You know I can't cover the full amount this month. You earn more than I did in my last year at Metro. I have other bills. So do I. He exhaled sharply. Renee's mother is selling her house. Once she moves in, she'll help with expenses. There it was. Miss Bernice was not simply coming because of her knees. Her money was part of the plan. What happens to me while everyone improves their finances? That is not fair. Neither is handing a man an apartment brochure over his dead wife's serving bowl. Malcolm said nothing. I regretted the sentence as soon as I spoke it, not because it was untrue, but because grief should not be used as a blade. His voice changed. You are trying to control us. No, I am removing my control from your monthly payment. You know exactly what this does. Yes. What do you want? That question told me he still believed money was a negotiation tactic. I want you to pay for the house you say is yours. He hung up. At 6, Renee came into my room without knocking. She had never done that before. Isaiah, we need to talk. I closed the book in my lap. Come in. She remained standing. Malcolm told me what you did. I expect he did. You cannot stop a mortgage payment because your feelings were hurt. I studied her face. Renee was not a cruel woman by nature. She was a woman who liked order, and she had spent 4 years arranging the house until every shelf, schedule, and dollar had a purpose. I had become an item that no longer fit the plan. The loan is not mine, I said. The payment has always come from you. That does not make it permanent. We budgeted around it. You budgeted my pension into a house you say I do not belong in. Her mouth tightened. You have a place to live. For 13 more days. That is not what I meant. It is what Malcolm said. Renee sat in the chair near the window. For the first time, she looked tired rather than angry. My mother is 72. Her house is falling apart. She cannot keep climbing those stairs. I understand. Then why are you making this harder? Why does helping your mother require removing Lila's grandfather? She is my mother, and Malcolm is my son. Renee looked away. The answer had reached her, but it had not changed the decision she wanted. "We can find another arrangement," she said. "You already found one." "It is on my dresser." She stood. "Pay the mortgage, Isaiah. We can discuss everything else after." No. It was the first clean no I had given either of them in years. Renee stared at me for a moment, then walked out. The next morning, an envelope appeared under my door. It was a 30-day notice printed from an online template. The notice claimed I was an adult guest whose permission to stay had been revoked. Malcolm had signed it. He had dated it the day before our Sunday dinner. They had prepared to remove me before asking me to understand. I placed the notice in the blue folder and drove to Naomi's office. She read it once. "This is useful." It does not feel useful. It tells us this was planned. What do? We respond in writing. We attach nothing yet. We state that you dispute their description of your rights and that all communication about your occupancy and property interest goes through this office. She typed the letter while I sat across from her. It was less than 1 page. No anger, no accusation, no history, just facts and a boundary. Naomi sent it by certified mail and email. Malcolm received it at 2:16 that afternoon. At 2:23, my phone rang. "You hired a lawyer against your own son?" "I called the lawyer who helped us buy the house." "What are you claiming?" "I have not claimed anything you did not sign." "What does that mean?" "Read Naomi's letter." "Dad, answer me." "Not while you are shouting." "I am not shouting." He was. I ended the call. At dinner, Malcolm did not come downstairs. Renee fed Lila in the kitchen. I ate soup in my room. The following week, the story left our house. My sister Denise called first. Denise was 71 and had never encountered a family problem. She believed silence could improve. "What is this I hear about you threatening Malcolm's home?" "I am not threatening his home. He says you stopped the mortgage because he asked you to consider senior living. He asked me to leave. He says you agreed years ago that the house would eventually be his." Eventually and immediately are different words. Denise sighed. "You know he has a child." "I know. You could ruin his credit. I could also continue paying until he forgets I ever had a life before his bills." "That does not sound like you." "No, it sounds like someone who finally heard himself." Denise went quiet. Then she asked, "What is in the lawyer's letter?" "That is between us for now. You are being secretive. I am being careful." I heard Naomi's word come out of my mouth and nearly smiled. By evening, 3 cousins had called. Malcolm had posted a message in the family group chat. He wrote that I was using money to punish him for making a reasonable decision about elder care. He said he had supported me after Evelyn's death and was now being repaid with a threat against his wife and daughter. He did not mention the $168,000. He did not mention the monthly payments. He did not mention the notice under my door. Most painful of all, he was not entirely lying. He had supported me after Evelyn died. He sat beside me at the funeral home when I could not choose a casket. He called every morning for 6 weeks. He invited me into his home before I asked. That was what made the betrayal difficult. People want villains to arrive fully formed. Usually, they arrive carrying one kindness you keep using to excuse the next cruelty. I did not respond in the family chat. I printed Malcolm's message and placed it in the folder. 2 days later, Leela knocked on my door. She was holding her math workbook. Can you help me? Always. She sat beside me on the bed. We worked through fractions for 20 minutes. When we finished, she did not move. Dad says the bank might take the house. My chest tightened. Adults are working through some money decisions. Is it because you stopped paying? Children do not need access to every truth, but they know when an answer is shaped like a lie. Yes. Why? I looked at her workbook. A purple pencil rested across the page. Because your father told me the house and its responsibilities belong to him. She frowned. But you live here, for now. Her chin trembled. Are you mad at me too? That question broke through every careful wall I had built. I pulled her close. Never. Listen to me. None of this is your fault, and no adult has the right to make you carry it. She cried against my shirt, not loudly. She cried the way children do when they are trying not to create another problem. I held her and felt something inside me come dangerously close to surrender. After she left, I opened my banking app. The mortgage payment could still be sent before the due date. My thumb hovered over the transfer. I pictured Lila packing her books into boxes. I pictured Malcolm telling the family I had put her out. I pictured Evelyn asking whether being right was worth injuring a child. Then I remembered another thing Evelyn used to say. Do not solve a child's fear by teaching the adults that fear controls you. I closed the app. The payment remained unpaid. The mortgage did not go into foreclosure the next morning. Life is slower than threats make it sound. Malcolm covered part of the payment from savings and borrowed the rest from a credit line. For the first time in 4 years, the loan left his account. The house remained standing. So did he. 3 weeks after the dinner, Naomi called me. Did Malcolm tell you he applied to refinance? No. The title company contacted the trust because of the recorded deed. I sat down. When did he apply? 2 weeks before he gave you the apartment brochure. The dates aligned too neatly. What was he trying to do? Replace the first mortgage and draw cash from the equity. We do not have every detail yet, but your interest cannot simply disappear. They need a release or subordination from the trust. How much cash? Enough that we need answers before you sign anything. I looked toward the ceiling. Above me, Malcolm's footsteps crossed the kitchen. He had not only planned to move me, he had planned to use equity created partly by the sale of my home, then remove the room that agreement had secured for me. What happens now? Nothing unless you consent. Does he know you know? The title company will tell him there is an issue. Malcolm came downstairs 20 minutes later. He did not knock. He held a packet of papers in his hand. What did Mom make us sign? The word Mom stopped me. He had not called her that during any argument about the house. Now he needed her to explain the obstacle she had left behind. Sit down. I don't want to sit down. Then stand quietly. He threw the packet onto my desk. The title company says your trust has a lien. It has a recorded deed of trust and a shared equity agreement you signed. You gave us that money. No, I invested it in the property. You signed the agreement. I was trying to get my wife and child into a house. So were we. You never said you owned 40%. Your signature says someone did. Malcolm paced to the window. This is unbelievable. What part? That you kept this hanging over us. I kept it in a folder. You know what I mean. I did not bring it up for 4 years because I believed the promise mattered more than the paper. He turned toward me. What promise? That your mother and I would have a home here as long as we needed one. His face changed. For a moment he remembered. I watched it happen. The title office. Evelyn fanning herself with a brochure. Renee rubbing her pregnant stomach. Malcolm handing me the brass front door key and saying, "No more lonely houses, Dad." Memory reached him. Then fear pushed it back. The refinance would fix everything, he said. For whom? For all of us. Where would I live? You have options. Name one that does not require me to spend half my pension after giving you my house money. He had no answer. I pointed to the packet. How much were you trying to take out? Naomi told you? The title company told the trust. He looked at the floor. 75,000. For what? Debt, repairs, some breathing room. What debt? Normal debt. Normal debt does not need my signature. His face hardened. You want to embarrass me. No. I want you to stop making plans with money you did not earn and rooms you did not build. I work every day. So did I. You think because you helped with the down payment, you can run my life. I think because I helped buy the house, you cannot pretend I was a guest until I became inconvenient. We stood looking at one another. I saw Evelyn in his eyes. That made it worse. Malcolm picked up the packet. What do you want me to do? It was the second time he had asked, and he still expected a financial price. I want a family meeting. He laughed once. You want to put me on trial? No. I want you to say everything you have said about me while I am in the room. And then what? Then I will show the room what we signed. The meeting took place the next Sunday at Denise's house. Denise made coffee and placed a pound cake on the dining table, as though sugar could persuade adults to behave. Malcolm came with Renee. I came with Naomi. That upset him before anyone spoke. You brought counsel to a family meeting? I brought the person who prepared the papers you called imaginary. Denise raised both hands. We are not doing this if everyone comes in ready to fight. I did not come to fight, I said. Malcolm laughed under his breath. Denise looked at him. You asked us to hear you. We are going to hear everybody. There were 8 people in the room. Denise, 2 cousins, Malcolm, Renee, Naomi, me, and Miss Bernice. Bernice surprised me. She sat beside her daughter with a cane across her knees and looked more uncomfortable than anyone. Denise asked Malcolm to speak first. He did. He said he had taken me in after Evelyn died. He said I had contributed money when they bought the house, but everyone understood it was family help. He said my monthly payments had been voluntary until I suddenly used them to oppose Bernice's move. He said Renee and he were under pressure. The house needed repairs, and refinancing was a reasonable step. He said I was trying to turn grief into permanent authority over his marriage. That sentence hurt because it contained enough truth to be useful. I had used the house to avoid facing my grief. I had paid because being needed felt safer than being alone, but that did not make his choices honorable. When Malcolm finished, Denise turned to me. Isaiah? I looked at my son. Anything else? He crossed his arms. No. I nodded to Naomi. She opened the blue folder. She did not give a speech. She passed copies around the table. The closing statement showed my $168,000 contribution. The recorded deed of trust showed that my $168,000 contribution was secured against the property. The shared equity agreement showed the trust's 40% share of the net equity. The occupancy agreement showed Evelyn's and my right to the downstairs rooms unless we released it in writing. Then Naomi placed Malcolm's 30-day notice beside the refinance timeline. The application had begun before the family conversation. No one spoke for nearly a minute. Miss Bernice read the occupancy agreement twice. Then she looked at Renee. "You told me Mr. Brooks wanted to move." Renee's face lost color. "I said he was considering it." "No," Bernice said. "You said he was lonely downstairs and wanted a community." Renee began to answer. Bernice raised one hand. Her fingers were thin and slightly bent from arthritis, but the room obeyed them. "I was not moving into another person's room," she said, not knowingly. Malcolm looked at Renee. "You told your mother he agreed?" Renee's eyes filled. "I thought once we explained it, he would understand." "You printed the apartment page before you explained anything," I said. She looked down. Denise turned to Malcolm. "Did you know about the 40%? "I knew there were papers. I did not understand it like this." Naomi spoke for the first time. "You signed a document stating the exact percentage in bold type." Malcolm's jaw tightened. "I was 35. My wife was pregnant. We trusted my parents." I felt the strange shape of his defense. He had trusted us enough not to read the protection, then resented us because the protection still worked. I leaned forward. "Malcolm, I did not buy a bedroom in your house." He looked at me. "I bought part of the house. But your mother made sure the paper remembered what gratitude might forget." Denise covered her mouth. Renee began crying quietly. Malcolm did not. He stared at the signature page. "That is my name." "Yes. What happens now?" Naomi answered. "There are several possible paths. No one needs to decide today. But Mr. Brooks cannot be treated as a revocable guest, and the trust will not release its interest for the proposed refinance without a full agreement." Malcolm looked at me. "So you can block it. I can refuse to erase myself. That is not an answer. It is the first honest answer we have had." Bernice shifted in her chair. "I am staying in my house," she said. Renee turned toward her. "Mom, you cannot manage those stairs." "Then I will sell it properly and choose somewhere I can afford. I will not enter this family as the reason another parent was removed." Renee cried harder. The meeting did not end with applause. Real family confrontations rarely do. People gathered their papers. Coffee went cold. Denise wrapped pound cake no one had eaten. Malcolm left without saying goodbye. I stood on the porch as his car pulled away. Naomi came beside me. "You all right?" "No." That was the correct answer. I looked through the window. Inside, Bernice was speaking to Renee. Denise was gathering cups. The family had not healed. It had simply stopped pretending the wound was not there. "What should I do about the house?" I asked. "What do you want?" "I do not know." Naomi nodded. "Then do not let urgency choose for you." For the next month, Malcolm and I lived in the same house and spoke mostly through Lila's schedule. He paid the mortgage. Not comfortably, but completely. Renee cut expenses. The new SUV disappeared from the driveway. They canceled a vacation planned for winter. Nothing about that pleased me. Justice does not always feel satisfying when the person learning the lesson still has your face around his eyes. I began looking for a place of my own, not because Malcolm could force me out, because I finally understood that a legal right to stay was not the same thing as a home. I found a small brick rambler in Bowie, 15 minutes from Lila's school. It had 2 bedrooms, a narrow kitchen, and a maple tree leaning over the back fence. The bathroom needed work. The basement smelled faintly of damp concrete. I loved it. The price was more than I wanted to spend, but my interest in Malcolm's house gave me options. Naomi proposed a voluntary sale. The first mortgage would be paid. My trust would receive its agreed share. Malcolm and Renee would receive their remaining equity. No foreclosure, no public auction, no surprise. They would have time to find a rental. Malcolm refused. This is Lila's home. It was also mine. You can buy something else without forcing us to sell. Not without surrendering the money that bought this one. We will pay you back later. With what? He looked away. The next week, the mortgage payment was late. He paid it 4 days afterward. The following month, it was late again. I did not lecture him. The numbers did what lectures could not. By December, Malcolm agreed to list the property. The night before the sign went into the yard, I found him sitting alone at the kitchen table. The navy serving bowl was in front of him. He was turning it slowly between his hands. "Mom bought this before I was born," he said. "She bought it at a church sale for $4. She told everybody it came from a department store. She wanted people to admire her greens, not her bargain." He smiled, then pressed his thumb against a small chip near the rim. "Did she know this would happen?" "No. She protected you anyway. She protected all of us from the version of ourselves that shows up when we are afraid." Malcolm stared into the bowl. "I was afraid. I know. We were behind before you stopped paying." "How far?" "More than I told you." I waited. He described credit cards, school fees, repairs, and a personal loan, used to keep everything looking stable. There was no secret gambling account, no criminal scheme, just a man who had built a life larger than his income and used his father's reliability as part of the foundation. That ordinary truth hurt more than a dramatic one. "I thought the refinance would reset everything," he said. "And my room?" He closed his eyes. Renee's mother was going to contribute from her home sale. "We told ourselves you would be happier somewhere with people your age." "Did you believe that?" "I wanted to." I sat across from him. "Why didn't you ask me?" "Because every answer I needed depended on you saying yes. That should have told you something. It does now." He ran one finger around the rim of the bowl. "Are you ever going to forgive me?" The question arrived before the apology. I looked at my son and saw a tired man, not the boy I had rescued from every hard edge. "I am working on it." He nodded. "I am sorry, Dad. Not for the mortgage, not for the refinance, for making you feel like you had to pay to stay close to us." My eyes burned. He had finally found the real injury. I looked toward the hallway where Evelyn's photograph waited in my room. "I helped create that arrangement," I said. "I kept paying because I was scared of another empty house." Malcolm looked up. "You could have told me. I could say the same to you." We sat quietly. Then he pushed the bowl toward me. "You should take this." "No, keep it for Lila." "Are you sure?" "Your mother did not protect family things so we could divide them during every argument." He laughed softly through his tears. That was the first night we spoke without money, standing between every sentence. The house sold in February. After the first mortgage and costs were paid, the trust received its agreed share. Malcolm and Renee received enough to pay their debts and put a deposit on a 3-bedroom rental. They did not leave wealthy. They did not leave homeless. They left responsible for the next month. I bought the little brick house in Bowie. Malcolm helped me replace the bathroom floor. For the first 2 Saturdays, we talked only about tile cuts and plumbing fittings. On the third, he brought Lila. She chose pale green paint for the second bedroom and announced it would be hers whenever she stayed over. I told her guests did not get permanent paint authority. She said, "I am not a guest." I looked at Malcolm. He looked down and smiled. "No," I told her, "you are not." Renee visited in March. She brought cornbread in a foil pan and stood on the porch holding it with both hands. "I owe you an apology," she said. "Yes." The direct answer surprised her. I invited her inside. She apologized for planning around me instead of with me. She apologized for misrepresenting the situation to her mother. She admitted she had viewed my mortgage payments as part of their household income. I did not tell her everything was fine. It was not. I told her trust would return in installments no bank could schedule. She nodded. That was enough for the day. Bernice sold her 2-story house and moved into a small condo near her church. She and I became unlikely friends. Every few weeks, she called to complain about the condo association or ask whether I knew anyone who could fix a loose outlet. I usually did. Malcolm never asked me to restart the mortgage payment because there was no mortgage left for me to pay. He did ask for help once. 6 months after the move, his car needed a transmission. He called, explained the problem, and asked whether I would loan him part of the repair cost. The old version of me would have transferred the full amount before he finished speaking. Instead, I asked what he had saved, what the shop had quoted, and what repayment he could manage. He answered every question. We wrote it down. He repaid me in 5 months. The amount mattered less than the conversation. A year after the dinner, we gathered at my house for Sunday supper. Renee brought roasted chicken. Bernice brought sweet potatoes. Denise brought a pound cake and reminded everyone that hers had been ignored during the family meeting. Lila placed Evelyn's navy serving bowl in the center of the table. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Malcolm looked at me. "Dad, can I say something?" I braced myself out of habit. He turned to Lila. "When people help you, that does not make their sacrifice invisible. And when you love someone, you do not make them prove their place by paying for it." Lila looked confused. She was 11. She wanted chicken, not a family doctrine. "That means say thank you," Bernice told her. Everyone laughed. I did too. Later, after the dishes were washed and the others had gone, Malcolm stood beside me on the porch. The air smelled like rain. "I thought you took my house," he said. "I know." "You didn't." "No." He looked toward the street. "You stopped carrying it." That was closer. I put one hand on his shoulder. "I did not stop being your father, Malcolm. I stopped financing the part of you that forgot I was one." He lowered his head. For several seconds, neither of us moved. Then my son leaned into me the way he had after scraping his chin at 6 years old. I held him with the papers still between us and the pain still real. Forgiveness did not return unlimited access. It left one door open while we repaired the frame around it. Stopping that mortgage payment did not save my money first. It saved the truth. The truth that I had confused being useful with being loved. The truth that Malcolm had confused receiving help with owning the person who gave it. The truth that a home cannot be held together by one person's fear of being left alone. I still miss Evelyn most on Sunday evenings. Sometimes, after everyone leaves, my little house becomes quiet enough for grief to sit beside me. But the quiet no longer feels like punishment. It feels like a room I own. And when Lila's backpack lands by the green bedroom door, or Malcolm calls before making a financial decision, I know our family did not survive because I kept paying. It survived because I finally stopped. Would you have stopped the mortgage payment that same night, or given your child one final month? Tell me which choice you would make and why.